Chapter 18. Denizens on my doorstep. I feel in the new year it's time to move to a new neighbourhood. Because something obviously buried under my house is starting to attract the local ferals in droves. A few months ago, on a balmy eve, there was a rapping upon my door, and I sprung to my feet exclaiming, "Goodness, who visits this sanctuary at this hour? I sure hope they come bearing gifts." Sadly, it wasn't my stockbroker coming with good news that my shares had quadrupled in price. A tad tricky when I have neither shares nor a stockbroker currently, but instead a heavily tattooed bloke who, after 10 cans of Jim Beam, was fighting a very tough slugfest with gravity. The kind of guy you don't want to bump into on the street, let alone end up on your doorstep. He looked me in the eye and said, "Hey, is there a guy called Andy here?" "No." "Yeah, I'm looking for this blonde kid. I did time with him. I know he lives somewhere on this street." "Oh, good. Now I have a heavily tattooed drunken ex-crim on my doorstep looking for Andy, who also happened to be an ex-crim and apparently lived here, or at least in a similar-looking house to mine, after 10 cans of bourbon." After the repeated no's finally sunk in, he stumbled off to where he threw his bike on my front lawn and valiantly attempted not to plough into parked cars. Knowing my luck, he'll probably be back after the next slab. Misfit number 2, I heard 5 blocks away before she struck. The loudest banshee that has ever descended upon my neighbourhood of Golden Square, acting as a scout for her party of troublesome merrymakers. "Hey guys, I'm sure it's this house. Yeah, it's this one." Once I heard that, my heart sank. It was quickly followed up with clomp, 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 clomp on my bullet-ridden concrete steps outside, followed up with a blam, 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 as she punched the door as hard as she could, as if her life depended on it. I opened it up to find a 17-year-old, at a guess, armed with Tupperware. An armful of Tupperware containers. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why either. Probably on the way to make your own pizza party, or whatever crazy kids do to get their kicks these days. She opened her mouth, yelled the words, "Is Mary here?" And I was propelled by a massive gale force right down my own hall, destroying the bookshelf at the end of the hallway that broke my fall. After brushing off my collection of the stainless steel rat books, I yelled back, "No!" And this seemed to satisfy the loud ghoul, who trotted off to announce to everyone in the same galaxy that, "No, this isn't the house!" Finally, our most recent gift of feral attraction, and the inspiration for this chapter, occurred earlier this morning, New Year's Day. At 2 this morning, we were woken to the sounds of 2, possibly 3, I couldn't be bothered doing a head count, drunks having a deep and meaningful right outside our house. Whether they were waiting for a bus that doesn't operate at night or just decided that our place was a good location as ever to start up an hour of boozed up rambling, I'll never know. But we were treated to a lot of slurring, swearing, and random drunken gibberish. Lucky us. Thankfully, one of them decided to chase after someone or something, and they took off at full blitzed pelt, never to return. I would go outside to see if they did damage the front fence or maybe the bus stop, but I'm going to give it a day or so for any possible spew from them to harden up in the sun. Here's hoping the new year is full of people I actually want to see on my doorstep, which is mainly the lottery commission with a big fat check, and 0 drunks, banshees, or Andy looking for his long-lost mate. Oh, and by the way, Happy New Year.